Hey everyone, what's going on? Back with a new video. Today I'm going to be discussing a book that's actually pretty popular amongst many readers, and that is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I've constantly seen this book on Instagram and I've heard really good book reviews about it, and this is actually my first Grady Hendrix novel that I've ever read, and was it a great one to start off with. Again, if you know me, you follow me on my channel, or you know me as a person, I love horror, but especially in horror, I love anything with vampires. Vampires are something that gets me intrigued, it keeps me interested, and this one was a page turner. I am so ready to talk about this, so enough me blabbering, let's jump right into this. First off, Grady Hendrix is an author who's on the newer scale. He has books that were published like in the late 2010-ish. I'm actually very excited to talk about this book. This isn't his first novel published, but it is, obviously, I believe this was published in 2020, so it's still newer. But I have plans to read more of his other books. I have his next book I'm going to be reading, which is My Best Friend's Exorcism, which I heard really good reviews about that as well. And then after My Best Friend's Exorcism, I'm actually going to be reading another novel by him. It's not really talked about a lot, but it is We Sold Our Souls, and you know, this just looks like an intriguing book. And then obviously his newest published book, How to Sell a Haunted House. Again, I've seen a lot of views on that too as well on Instagram, and I'm definitely going to have to check that one out. But let's dive into the SBC's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This book takes place in the South, as you can tell by the title. Now, I can't remember if it states a specific state. I know they talk about the certain Carolinas in here, I think briefly. But again, this is the southern states they are talking about in this. So when I was listening to Audible, I could tell like the hearing, you know, with the yawl and the southern draw. And so this book follows the life of Patricia Campbell, our main character, our protagonist. And she is a southern housewife who belongs to a pretty unconventional book club. And this book club she's in is made up of other housewives who talk about true crimes and pretty murderous novels. And then one day an interesting character comes into play. His name is James. This mainly follows the book club and specifically Patricia Campbell and her way to try to stay safe throughout the neighborhood. The arrival of James Harris causes the women to think about everything they know about and the safety of their neighborhood that may be in jeopardy. Patricia Campbell takes a very interesting journey through this story, and she is trying to figure out who this character is, this new character who's moved into town. And you know, a lot of those books where strange characters move into quaint, very quiet, nice neighborhoods. It's very interesting to see that the journey she takes on, she goes through horrifying events, and as she's trying to bring her book club members and really basically her friends together to try to solve this, many of the people start questioning either their sanity or they start, you know, questioning whether they can trust one another. So lots of twists and turns with this book, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I give this book 5 stars. And again, if you know me, I love vampires. This book is chock full of vampire-esque natures, and I love the tone of it. The very quick pace. For this being my first Grady Hendrix novel to read, I'm looking forward to reading a lot more of his. And again, I have 2 more lined up as I mentioned earlier. This book isn't that long. It's just over 400 pages. After this novel, I noticed that Grady Hendrix was actually a very good storyteller, and the horror aspect he brings into his novels, and really wants you to turn the pages more as you go through it. Again, if you listen to Audible, again, the narration brings the story even more to life, and that's just my personal opinion because I love listening to Audible. I know many of you others love listening to Audible books as well. But again, this book is a highly recommended book, especially if you love vampires. It has a nice twists and turns and unexpected events that actually occur. There's been a couple times I was reading this and there were certain spots that I was not expecting. So definitely go pick this up, go check it out at your library or anything. Great novel. And if you've read this or if you've read any of his other novels, please comment below. I love talking about books that people have read, you know, the discussions back and forth. It's really great, and this novel can definitely get a good conversation started. I'm so ready to start My Best Friend's Exorcism. I've heard really good reviews about this, and once I'm done with this, who knows, I may make a book review about that, so stay tuned. And like I always say, please remember, read your book cover to cover. We'll see y'all later.